Hey folks, this is Rodney and my little buddy. Say hey, Apollo. Want to say that to the camera this time? Little rat. So just came back from a walk, and just had a chance to actually do some thinking here. And it's been on my mind actually for the last few days. As most of you know, I had some computer problems, to say the least, last week, and some of this, in that whole situation, when I had to go downtown to go pick up some parts, some things kind of crossed my mind as I kind of ran into a situation. And here's the deal, is at almost any time that you're out and about doing your thing, regardless of what it is, there is someone watching. There's somebody that's taking notice. Okay? Be cognizant of that, right? That your actions are being watched. And I don't mean that in a sinister way. I just mean that, people take account and take note of what you do and how you do it. And with that being said, just about anything, if not everything that you do when you interact with somebody, when you come in contact with somebody, right? When you have that interaction with somebody, you have a chance to plant a seed. You are given an opportunity to pay it forward. And the thought that really hit me is that you never know the size of the waves that your ripples make when you toss that pebble into a pond. Okay, and I'll say that again. You do not know the size of the waves that your ripples will make when you toss your pebble into a pond. And here's what I mean by that. The whole story behind the whole deal of me going downtown to get some parts for my computer. Went down to Radio Shack and doing my normal looking around, guys asking if I needed any help, found what I needed, and in the process of doing so, somebody caught my attention because I recognized them. And I looked at her for a second because she kind of said, hey, she kind of got my attention as well. And I said, hey, what are you doing working down here now? I didn't know you worked down here. And she told me that she helps out when she's, kind of in the area. And my mind kind of blinked for a second. And a lot of times I'll forget names, and that's something I'm working on. I'm trying to work on that. But I don't forget faces. Almost never will I ever forget a face. And I knew her from somewhere. And she proceeded to tell me where she had met me. And what's funny is that this was months and months back, as a matter of fact. I didn't even pay it any mind when I did what I did. And what had happened was, and I'm sure a lot of folks went into this, where you'll have peddlers or homeless or what have you, that ask for change, beg for change, hey, can you spare $1? Can you do this? Can you do that? And, sometimes, I do it, sometimes I don't. Because, the thing is that not everybody's legit, right? The bottom line is that when you see people out there, sometimes, to be honest with you, they've got jobs, or that is their full-time job. And there was a story about a couple out in Arizona that they would pretty much do that somewhere in some kind of big hub area, and they would go home to like Corvettes in a mansion. So, my wife found that story for me and told me about that a while back. So, it's not that I look at it with skepticism. I just don't go in as naive or gullible as I used to. But, my heart always tugs at me because I want to help people. And that's my main deal, is that I want to do what I can like I said earlier, to pay it forward, to kind of live that lend that helping hand. And I don't do it for the recognition. I don't do it to get a pat on the back, to toot my horn. I do it because, I honestly and genuinely think, what would Jesus do? What do I say to my wife or my family, my, brother, my mother, my father? What do I say to them when there's somebody that needed help and I didn't help them? They genuinely needed help and I refused to help them. I made a conscious choice and decision to say, no, you don't deserve it. So I saw these two folks. It was a guy and a girl, and they were actually in front of a store, in front of an Albertsons down here, and they had asked, hey, do you have any spare change, blah, 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 kind of hungry. And I said, well, if you're hungry, do you guys want something to eat? And they were like, well, yeah. I said, well, cool. I said, you guys hang tight for a second, and I'll be right back. And I know they probably hear that day in and day out. Oh, yeah, we'll get you something. No, but if I tell somebody that, I'm going to do it. I don't like to leave somebody high and dry. Either I'll give you a polite no, thank you, and go on, or I'll say, hey, I can spare this, or I'll go get them a snack or a bite to eat. But it was cold. It was just one of those nights. And I was out. I was going to get me something to eat, as it was anyway. So I knew that I was in a position that I could spare the time and the money and the energy to go get them something to eat. So I just hopped down to Burger King, grabbed some sandwiches, and I came back. It was about maybe 10 minutes later because the line was long. It was about 10 minutes later. And came back, and I think I got them 2 sandwiches apiece, and I dropped off a card for them from church. And told them, not a problem, more than happy to. You guys have a blessed night, like I always would. Didn't think anything of it. So, fast forward months and months later, and I'm in Radio Shack, and keep in mind, they were a brother and sister, they told me, and they looked like they were having it hard, So, I get down to Radio Shack here last week, I believe, and she told me, hey, remember, you're the guy, that got us some food from Burger King. And it all flooded back to me. And she proceeded to tell me, play by play, exactly what happened that night. And we, compared our notes. Yep, I got you this, I got you that. She's like, yep, that's the kind of sandwiches you got. And I was like, well, where's your brother? And she looks over, and her brother is like just a few feet away sitting down. And so I go talk to him, and apparently, I guess he had just gotten a job. So she tells me, how well they're doing now. Obviously, they still have some struggles, but they're making it, though, and they're doing better. And I guess he just recently got a job, and she's working out when she can. Had some other issues that were going on. But, in light of them telling me all that, it was the fact that you get that chance. A lot of times, you don't actually get that chance a lot of times to kind of see the fruits of your labor, right? To see the good that you've done. You just do it on faith. And that's how I do it. Whether, something good comes of it or not, it is what it is. I got to account to him upstairs. That's who I account to. And that's who I know is judging me. So I do it because I want to make sure that I do as he would. When I can, however I can. And what was nice, and just had me thinking, obviously since then, was the fact that, I don't even think it was the fact that I gave him the food. It was the fact that I cared enough, and, I don't want to blast their names all over, but this brother and sister, I'm happy to say that they seem to be doing better. And that in itself is reward enough for me. And that's the reason why I made this video. Is I would just want people to be conscious and be aware that people watch what you do, right? they take note of your actions and remember, good or bad. Remember that. Good or bad, they remember what you do. Okay? And I don't know how big those ripples are going to be that I did for this brother and sister. I don't know how large those waves are going to become. And honestly, for them, I hope they become as big as they can be. Massive waves of accomplishments and setting and meeting and achieving goals and making steps in life in a positive manner. That's what I hope for them. So, again, like I said, this is not about me. This is not about a pat on my back. This, I would honestly say, is a call out to folks to say, hey, you know, you don't know what somebody's struggles are, right? You don't know their hardships. You don't know what they've been through or what they're going through and the demons that they're facing and they're battling on a day in and day out basis. You don't know, right? Sometimes, you know, and I know we've all been victim, or not victim, but we've all been guilty of that, you know, that we put on a different face. We put on a different front, right? Because we don't want anybody to see that hurt sometimes, right? We want to say, hey, you know, things are good. I'm doing great. While you're feeling like crap inside. So here's a message that I give to you. Whether or not you're feeling like that, but especially if you're feeling like that, take the focus off of yourself for a minute. Take the focus off of you and put that focus on somebody else that's in need. Somebody that's worse off than you. Somebody that you can see is calling out and crying out for help. And be that helping hand. Right? Be that angel. Be that guardian for them. And some folks might take this as a, you know, oh, I can't, you know, that's too much of a daunting task. I can't do that. Or, you know, Rodney, you're full of crap. Well, you know what? Right back at you. Sorry. You know, I mean, too many times do people just stand by and just let things happen and then complain when they do, when they could have done something. They just watch it happen. So, you know, a phrase that I like to use a lot of times, hey, buddy, what you doing? You okay? You just want some time? You want some attention? A quote, and I might butcher this a little bit, but, and I put it on this magnitude because it is this big. You know, it might start out small for some folks, but this is what it gets to, is that all, and again, like I said, forgive me if I mess this up, but all that it takes for evil to survive or flourish is for good men to do nothing. That's it. That's it. So for you to sit idly by, knowing that you could have done something, knowing that you could have tried to have done something, and choose not to, shame on you. So does this mean that I want you to go out and, you know, give to every person on the street that's begging? No. You know, but sometimes you'll get that gut feeling. You'll get that conscience, that spirit that's pulling at you and tugging at you and saying, hey, you know what? Do this. Not for you, but do it for them and the greater good and for God. That's what you do it for. So I encourage you all to do that. And I mean, set a goal for yourself. Maybe you do one person a week, one person a month, something. Make an effort, make a conscious effort, you know, to go out and do those random acts of kindness. But do something. All right? And who knows how big that can be? Who knows how large that can become? Who knows? You know, but regardless of how big it becomes, you'll have the joy and the satisfaction of knowing that you made a positive impact on somebody's life. Large or small, it was a positive impact. So with that being said, I got to skedaddle. You guys take care. Have a blessed one. Peace out. And God bless. Bye-bye.